Why isn't handheld gaming the same anymore? Now, if I were to go back 10 or 20 years ago, someone would probably be playing on a PSP, DS, 3DS, a PS Vita even. I know that wasn't that successful, but still. That you guys get the point. But now, I don't see people walking around with the Nintendo Switch or a Steam Deck. I mean, yeah, I see and hear people play them, but I don't see them taken out in public. And that brings us to our first of 5 reasons as to why handhelds do not feel the same anymore. Handhelds aren't really portable anymore. Like, I mean, yeah, bring your Steam Deck and Nintendo Switch on a plane. But, like, back in the day, someone could pull out their 3DS out of their pocket and then just play it. But now, the closest thing we really have to that is the Nintendo Switch Lite, and that's even a long shot. And I know this is kind of a short reason, but still. 2. Handhelds, the handheld games are nowhere near the same. Back in the day, handhelds used to be kind of like different exclusives related to other games. For example, on the 3DS, we had Super Mario 3D Land, but while on the Wii U, the main console, they had Super Mario 3D World. And so the 3DS had an exclusive game to play, which entices people to buy the console or handheld. But now, look at handhelds now. Most of the time, I'm not saying all the time, most of the time, it's just console games being recreated on handhelds at worse resolutions. Why would I want to play, like, for example, I heard Red Dead 2 might be coming to Nintendo Switch 2. I don't want to play Red Dead 2 on my Nintendo Switch 2. I don't have one, but still, if I did have one, I'd just play it on my PS5. Because it has better graphics. And let's be honest, aside from like on a plane ride or a car ride, I'm not bringing my Nintendo Switch 2 around. So obviously, I'm going to play on PS5. So the magic of handheld gaming and the changes and differences between consoles and handhelds is just not there anymore. And that is a big problem as to why handhelds aren't as prevalent as in our society nowadays. 3. Nintendo kinda ruined it a little. Because, as you know, back in the 2000s and 2010s, Nintendo basically ruled the handheld market. Xbox didn't really do anything. PS did put up a pretty good fight with the PSP. PS Vita is actually like one of the most underrated things, but it's not even make a dent in the 3DS or the DS. I know the DS performed better than the 3DS. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. But basically, everyone else but Nintendo was kind of getting destroyed except for a little bit Sony. Now, no one else even dared to touch handhelds after the Nintendo Switch because of how successful that hybrid was. Up until around now when Xbox kind of started doing stuff and PlayStation, I believe they had some leaks about like another PSP or something. No, the PlayStation Portal does not count. I don't care. In my opinion, that does not count. And I just feel like Nintendo kind of made it where there was no competition. And I feel like they just kind of, since they were really the only ones doing it, like the only mainstream ones doing it, whatever they did kind of shaped the handheld community and market. So yeah, when they make a hybrid kind of console or handheld, obviously, it's for sure going to kind of change everything. Because they're kind of the ones leading, like making all the shots and stuff. So I just feel like Nintendo kind of ruined it, but kind of saved it at the same time, if that makes sense. 4. Number 4, no more gimmicks. Like, whatever happened to the dual screen on the DS? Now, you could argue, well, what about Joy-Cons? They've been around since 2017. They use the same thing for the Switch too. They just added it where it's magnetic. That's about it. And you don't really even notice Joy-Cons, especially when you're playing. But I mean, I guess that has a mini gimmick, but still. I mean, stuff like with the Steam Deck and stuff. It's literally just a handheld that plays a bunch of PC games a little worse than a PC. And I'm not saying it's a bad handheld. By no means do I mean that. I just mean it needs gimmicks. Like, for the PSP, you have, like, PS2 graphics running on a PSP, and the UMD was, like, one of the biggest advertisers. Obviously, for the 3DS and DS, it was dual screen, but the 3DS also had a new one. It was dual screen and 3D. Now, I do think there are some little gimmicks every now and then, It's just not as prominent as it was a few years back. And that brings us to our last reason, number 5, or thing number 5. I don't know why I said reason. Thing number 5. Number 5, and I feel like this is like one of the most important reasons, but one of the smallest ones also. There's not really a community. Like on the DS, you have I forget what it's called, you draw, and then someone else can see your drawings and stuff, and it keeps people connected. And on the 3DS, you had, like, the Street View and stuff. I think you had the Street View. But also on the 3DS, you could make Miis with, like, the Wii U and Wii. And it was just all really, really, really cool. And it was kind of like a whole, like, community thing. Like, everybody could be a part of. But now, I mean, yeah, you can go on the internet on your handheld. It's cool. But, like, I'd kind of prefer if there was more ecosystems, I guess. Like, if there's more stuff to connect. Like, let's say I had a Steam Deck. My friend had a Steam Deck. And there's a lot of people with Steam Decks. Maybe I'd want to be connected. Now, I don't actually have a Steam Deck, but that's not the point. Maybe I'd want to, like, do something with my friend and be more connected and have, like, a whole ecosystem to connect. And same thing with the, like, Nintendo nowadays. I mean, they do still have part of it. It's just, it's not as prevalent, I guess. Anyway, now, I do still think the Nintendo Switch did have a lot of this magic. And I do think it was probably one of the last ones we have with this magic, but who knows? We could go back. And I'm still very optimistic about the future of handhelds. And with all that being said, that's going to be about it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a decent amount of time. We're almost at 200 subscribers. Please subscribe. It's my goal to get to 250 by the end of this year. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.